You're ahead of me. Good morning, Erin.
Happy almost Christmas.
Yes, 3 days in count. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I guess 3 days. I'm not a Christmas person, but I am wearing my ugly Christmas sweater today for a party. So here we go.
There you go. And I have my Dear Santa Define Good sweater on because I think that's very fitting and perfect.
Very true. And defining good could mean a whole lot of things.
Exactly. So,
and I have this crazy, weird, oh, wait, let me see. Turn it the other way. Holiday kind of Christmas cake thing that I'm about to dive into. This is of the holidays. Sweets and all of this food that you're eating, extra calories. We have all of these ladies getting engaged and they're going to be like, oh my God, I ate too much at the holidays.
All the time. Happens all the time. And we are a family of bakers. So I have homemade peanut butter cookies because that is a tradition in our family to have things like that around the holidays. I was going to bring in the peanut brittle, but decided I was going to make sure I didn't have to share that. So,
cheers to that. I know you probably don't have champagne, do you? Because you're working.
It's been a long week. Cheers.
So, it's such a crazy time of year because everyone seems to get engaged at Christmas, New Year's, and then Valentine's Day. I think Christmas and New Year's because people are already gathered with their families that it makes it easy for people to ask for parents' blessing, which, is all about tradition and kind of goes into what we're talking a little bit about today. One of the big trends for 2020 is boho chic weddings, which we've kind of seen. It kind of comes around and then pops back out for a while and then comes back. But I think it plays into tradition. It's kind of and we see a lot of it that starts with, I think, the location usually, and then the dress, right? So if you have you want that vintage boho theme, maybe you're taking cuts of your parents' dresses or grandparents' dresses that were that really antique lace or material, pretty. I actually had a bride that the dress was not something that could be salvaged because it wasn't properly preserved, but she made little handkerchiefs out of it for her bridesmaids and her mom, which was nice. So we're kind of talking about trends because that's what everyone's talking about. It's 2020 already. We've already left 2019 behind. One thing we did together, do you remember that bouquet of brooches that was actual brooches, not real flowers?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was so heavy, but it was absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. And, the bride had a good story behind all of those brooches.
She did. And it was from both of their families. And what an amazing creation. But it was heavy. And she was a little peanut. I'm like, that thing weighs more than you do. And there's no more in that thing.
And I know, right? I think you handed it to me and you were like, Erin, hold this for a second. I was like, holy moly. It was really heavy, but kind of doing a bouquet of brooches that incorporates both sides of the family. Let me move my phone because I think we're getting feedback. Both sides of the family, it's something that you're able to keep because traditionally, if you have a bouquet of flowers or something like that, it's hard to preserve that and keep that, where that brooch, that bouquet of brooches is something that, you can put out on a counter or something like that, or on a coffee table and kind of display it all the time.
Yeah, it was so pretty. Oh my goodness. I have a picture of it. I'll try to find it and share it on the blog after Cake Chat today. It again talks about, veils, using veils that either your grandparents, your parents, or even siblings have used. That comes back into that whole vintage boho older theme.
The hairstyles, I love the hairstyles.
Yes.
Having it down and tight and curled on the side, and having it here with either brooches or flowers or a hairpiece or something like that is just gorgeous.
Yeah, I saw some pictures when researching this week with like feathers, like just I don't know, very whimsical, kind of beautiful feathers. So I think it's gonna be a fun year for people that want to do that. It talks obviously about location and the setting, and you've got to make sure that that really goes with the theme as well. So we've seen a lot with historical homes, people doing this theme where they're bringing in picture frames of like weddings from the past, whether it's your family or it's just a theme you want to go with. We've helped people find some of those lace tablecloths and runners, the typewriters like at the Hemingway house with like old love notes written, so sweet.
And being able to incorporate all of those things throughout the space, you can have it on the welcome table, you can have it on the sweetheart table, you can have stuff on the bar and the food tables, on obviously your guest tables. Being able to take those little momentums and spreading them out, having the picture frames on the cake tables and stuff like that. It's beautiful, it's nice, and it kind of keeps people intrigued. It's not just the same flowers sitting everywhere. It's something a little bit different on each table.
Yeah, people are paying attention to it. So, you've got an old typewriter sitting there next to like a vintage suitcase where people are putting in their little notes. It obviously sets a theme for what the whole event looks like. Your music selection, can come into play and be very old fashioned, vintage. Maybe you just want to do that for cocktail hour and ceremony so that people can enjoy the dance party after, which then, of course, is one of our favorite things. Is you start off with live music and you move to a DJ. A little bit something for everybody. Your drink selection, old fashions and things like that people are, kind of having as a signature drink on the bar.
And you can do the signature drink on that, and then you can also kind of pass that as people are arriving. That will help in two ways. It will also help get the theme through, but it's also going to help keep down the line at the bar as well. Plus, they're pretty and they're great in pictures, and people are like, I'm welcome to the drink. Tonight's going to be a good night.
Yeah, and that's like passing champagne. One client we've got, they wanted champagne passed for this theme, but we're using like old heavy goblet, like the crystal goblets that have the pattern to them versus like the standard ones that you'd find at a resort or a rental company. So people are really going to get into it, I think, with this whole theme.
We've also had another unique way to pass champagne, which is in the champagne dress. So you can have people walking around with the hoop skirts and the champagne hooked into the hoop skirts, and people are able to take the champagne from the hoop dress.
Yes.
So that was fun.
That gal can be dressed, obviously in costume and theme, a little bit more than that. I think the one that we had actually did have feathers in her hair. Now that I think about it, I've got to go back and try to find that picture. We've done so many things, and I think that, boho chic is kind of a collection of a lot of things that could happen. So, big candelabras, with like real burning candles. We've kind of gotten away from the real burning candles because obviously the wind plays a factor. But if you're indoors and you've got a big chandelier that can allow for them, and the resort and the venue will allow for them, it's so pretty, so romantic. Or the old like vintage candelabras on the table versus, chandeliers, or I guess I'm saying both now, chandeliers and candelabras. Charger plates, like vintage glass.
Plates are great.
I've been looking at some of the old kind of colored thick glass ones. It's like you don't want to take them off the table when you're actually having dinner served. They're so pretty. So what else? We talked about, books. So at Hemingway House once we did all of this era of books on the table. So they were doing kind of like I think it was a Roaring 20 wedding. I have to remember, but they did all of these books that were candles and books on the table and lace. It was so pretty, so pretty.
And we're going into a lot of the themes for the new year are Roaring 20s. So you're going back into that with the beads and the feathers and all of those sort of things because you're going into 2020. So if you're able to tie that into the wedding as well, doing, encouraging your guests to dress in a certain way kind of also ties into the theme. And I know we've talked about this before. It definitely ties into, we just had one where they asked everyone to wear white. But if you're going for something like that and it's black and beads and pearls, you know, you can definitely do stuff like that and encourage your guests to do that. Your pictures will be amazing.
Yeah, I think of those like the girls walking around, and we've done this with the little cigar trays. You know, like I guess they flapper girls. They've got like the cute little skirts and things in their hair, and then the guys
and the little long cigar.
Yes, lighting cigars. The guys wearing like suspenders and, you know, even like capri pants. I mean, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a fun year. Like you said, the Roaring 20, we've had tons of inquiries for 10, 10, 20, 10 plus 10 equals 20. I keep thinking those days are gone and they keep creeping back.
Yep. Lots of fun.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's going to be a fun year. There's lots more trends to talk about, but that's kind of what we picked for today. We know we're going into a busy week. A lot of people are traveling this weekend to be with their family. Christmas is a Wednesday this week. And so it's you know, you're going to be hearing about a lot of engagements after probably on our next cake chat. We're probably going to have a few engagements to talk about. I hope there's some unique ones. I always love to hear how people have pulled this off.
I know. I think the one thing that we missed was and we talked about this, we did a whole session on this, was the something borrowed, something blue, something old. I don't know. I just did it the wrong order. Borrowed blue, new, and old, 6 months in a shoe. We always forget the end, but we have a whole blog on that. So we'll definitely take a look at that for sure.
Well, and I think too, one thing I forgot to even put on our list was the invitations. Like, again, that sets the tone. So if you are doing something vintage and boho, you're going to want to let your guests know that either through your save the date or through your invitation or through your wedding website. You know, if you're going for that theme and you want your pictures to kind of portray what your day was like, you're probably going to want everybody to kind of be dressed like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got a thank you note from our November 30th wedding. Let me see if I can just bring it up real quick, because we asked everybody for that wedding to dress in all white, and they obviously wanted that for pictures. Again, I don't, if you weren't tuning in with us in the last week, you probably didn't remember that they pulled off a mega surprise. People thought they were coming to a engagement party. They came, we shuffled them to a ceremony and then into a gender reveal. Boy, Rob and Miley are having a boy. So we just got a cute little note. Crazy, still amazed that it was 3 weeks ago today. Everything was so great. You guys are awesome. So it's so nice to hear when people kind of just even 3 weeks later think back. They're like, wow, it was 3 weeks ago, but everything was just beyond what they think. And that's what we try to do. We try to exceed expectations for all of our clients. And then another one I got sitting here yesterday from a wedding that we did years ago in the Keys. They were back. Hoping to meet up, and unfortunately I am not there. You are not there. And let me see, this was Nathan and Sky, and they were such a great wedding. They are two theater and actors in New York City, and so they had this eclectic, amazing group of friends that came down from New York City, and we transformed this tent into this vibrant the paper mache. Do you remember when you were a kid, you made the paper mache flowers? They had 70 people sitting around a pool drinking champagne, making the flowers that were going in the tent. And it was unbelievable. So they popped back into, for their anniversary into Key West, and we're asking about the gal that made their tres leche cake. They wanted her to make one. Unfortunately, she's had 2 babies and doesn't do it anymore. So we redirected them to someone else on the island that does it, but they were like, oh my gosh, and what about this place that we went to? And so these clients, they stay our friends and they stay in touch, and we love it. And that's why we try to, do everything that they want imaginable. That's legal.
And pointing them in the right direction of things that will flow well for their event too.
And sometimes we have to talk people off the ledge. Like, yes, we know you want this, but in reality, we can probably pull it off. You just have to understand there's going to be some things that are going to surround it. So
yeah.
it's always nice to hear from our clients. But I don't think we have any questions. We're back on Be Live. We did it. We were a little late, but we did.
We're here. We just got on the wrong time zone for a minute.
I was on Central Time.
So I'm going to say cheers and Merry Christmas to everyone. We will be back next weekend. Any questions that you have, let us know. If you see some great engagement photos, pass them our way. We love to see them. And have a great Merry Christmas. Spend some time with your family and relax.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. And if you do know someone that got engaged or you're getting engaged, you might want to treat yourself to the bridal retreat, March 19th. So we're going to be in Savannah. It's going to be so great, and we would love to have you. So Merry Christmas. We'll be back next Sunday with some great engagement stories, and hope everyone has a safe and wonderful holiday.
Bye, everyone.